What's up YouTube, SNK Gaming here, welcoming you back to week 4 of the PMC, guys. This week we're doing our team builder for our battle against Max, coach of the Maxximum Charizards. He's a really great battler, guys. I will have his description, of course, in the battle video. But today we're going over the team builder for our team that we are bringing against him. I'm going to run through his mons real quick, run through our entire team, and then run through the 6 mons that I am bringing this week. So his mons are Hippowdon, Alakazam, Heatran, Ferrothorn, Mega Charizard Y, Tentacruel, Swampert, Hitmonlee, Stoutland, Rotom, and Jinx. So definitely some big threats on his team, guys. Of course, the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's going to be a huge threat. It could be physically or especially defensive, and of course, the Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet damage is a big threat. He's definitely a mon that I'm worried about. Heatran, of course, Flash Fire, great ability. Kind of walls my Chandelure, which is actually one of my favorite mons on my team. It's one I kind of rely on for a lot of things. He again could be specially or physically defensive. Alakazam, he's not Mega Alakazam, which is actually worse for me because if he is in fact sashed, Stealth Rocks will not break his sash, so he can proceed to kind of run train on my team. Like, he's not going to sweep me unless he somehow sets up like with a Calm Mind or something. But he can definitely put in a lot of work on our team, and even worse if he's choice Scarfed, although I don't foresee that. I definitely foresee the Focus Sash just because, A, that's kind of what he's been doing, and B, Focus Sash Alakazam is kind of a standard set. It's kind of, it's meta. It's just... It's too good to not bring Focus Sash Alakazam. Hippowdon, of course, a huge defensive threat. I actually have prepared pretty well for this Hippowdon, as you guys will see in a couple of minutes. The Mega Charizard Y is actually the scariest thing on his team for me. Looking at it, it does huge amounts of damage to everything on my team. Even things that resist its stab, like Suicune and Garchomp. It has Solar Beam as an option, so Suicune gets bodied by the Solar Beam. Garchomp gets Solar Beam does like 80%. Even things that resist it and things that fire is just neutral or whatever, like it's still doing a base 60% with an overheat in the sun. So I've brought a specific mon with a specific set to counter that. But we'll go over that in a second. Tentacruel, of course, always an issue with the Black Sludge and the huge special defense stat. It gives him hazard removal as well. Swampert is definitely a huge physical threat. I'm not as worried about that just with the 4x weakness to grass, but Hitmonlee, of course, that normal gen boosted. Fake Out, which is of course obvious, and then the Unburden boost after that. Stoutland, of course, a huge physical threat. Getting coverage with Ice Fang and Thunder Fang and all that good stuff. Rotom, I'm not that worried about. Levitate is a bit annoying, but his stats aren't that great, and the only issue I have with him is if he Will-O-Wisp, which is why we have a certain mon on our team to take care of that. And then Jinx, I'm not all too worried about. I don't actually know what Jinx would want to do, but I do believe that our Scarfers will outspeed him, or Jinx, even if he's Scarfed, so we can hopefully take care of that. But going into our team now, guys, we have the potential to bring Mega Scizor, Blissey, Suicune, Thundurus Therian, which is our new pickup along with Blissey that we picked up. We actually dropped Crocodile and Gengar for Blissey and Thundurus respectively. Gengar wasn't doing too much on the team. I love Gengar, I love him to death, but he just wasn't doing too much for me, especially with Chandelure in the back there. I just figured Chandelure was a better option with the Flash Fire and Infiltrator ability. I like those abilities better. I felt like he was doing a lot more with those two than Gengar could do with just Levitate. I realized that Gengar is an amazing mon. He is actually my favorite Pokemon, but he just wasn't meshing well with my team, so I needed to drop him, and I picked up Blissey. He gives me another special defensive wall, huge HP stat, and he gives me a Heal Bell user, which is important after that battle last week where both my Garchomp and my Scizor got burned. So I learned my lesson with that. I picked up Thundurus Therian just to give me a water type resistant earthquake immunity and a electric immunity with the Volt Absorb ability, so that's why I picked up that. We still have Electros, Braviary, Weezing, Garchomp, Hariyama. We picked up Mew. We actually picked up Mew. I forget who we dropped for Mew, but we dropped someone and picked up Mew, and I'm really happy we did that. And then we have Chandelure, of course. But going into our specific mons now, guys, we will start off with our physically defensive wall, Suicune. I basically, standard mon on my team, pretty much. I love Suicune, I love him to death. He's there to cover Hippowdon, there to cover Heatran, the Tentacruel, the Swampert, Hitmonlee, Stoutland, unless that Stoutland has Wild Charge, which even then it's only doing about 30%, so we can just fish for some Scald burns there and doing about 30% with our Scald. He's there to cover the Jinx, just basically just to wall him. Toxic for the Hippowdon and the just Swampert and anything else, but mainly for the Hippowdon, just to kind of wear that down as well. I actually do not have Calm Mind on here. I actually forgot to change that. I've already gen my team, but I forgot to change it on here. I have Rest on there. I put Calm Mind on there because I put Scald, Toxic, and Tailwind, and I was like, what am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I was like, I guess I have an open slot. Let me put Calm Mind in there. I can start putting up some big damage and get some special defense boost in there too. And then I was like, oh wait, I don't have Rest on there. I'm Resto Chesto. So it was kind of pointless. So I put Rest back on there, and of course that is gen, and it will be like that for the battle. But it is Resto Chesto, basic Suicune set. This is pretty much what I bring every week, and I know it's a little predictable, but it's just he's too good to not bring like that. You know, like I could bring especially offensive Suicune, but I just feel like this is better because he can still put out a decent amount of damage with that Scald. You know, Scald, even against mons that it's just neutral to, it's doing about 30%, even with like 8 in special attack investment. So I mean, I don't see the advantage to running a special Suicune when I could just run him defensively and still do a decent amount of damage with Scald. So I run it like that. 248 in HP, 252 in defense with 8 in special attack, just so again he can't hit a little bit, but he's mainly there for a physical wall, and then Bold, so he's just, you know, tanking up every hit. Next we have Blissey. This is actually something that I was nervous about. I was really nervous building, and I'm still nervous going into the battle. I'm not sure if I want to run it like this or not. I might change it up for the battle. But I have him leftovers with Stealth Rock, Soft Boil, Heal Bell, and Grass Knot. I like the move set. There's nothing wrong with the move set in my opinion. What I'm confused, or not what I'm confused about, what I'm what I'm iffy about, there's the word. What I'm iffy about is I want 252 in HP, obviously, because you don't run Blissey without max HP, but I'm not sure if I want to put max defense or not. His special defense stat is through the roof already. It would be great if he was calm with a with full special defense investment. That would be a huge boost. But with this spread the way it is, he can live any special move that he has to dish out, and he can somewhat live physical moves now too. Like he can live an Earthquake from Hippowdon that he normally wouldn't live. Or she, I should say. It's female. She can live physical moves now. So, and Psyshock isn't doing as much. Earthquake from Hippowdon isn't doing as much. Earthquake from Swampert isn't doing as much. So I feel like this is the best play, because while I do already have a physical wall, I don't want Blissey to have to switch out every time Hippowdon comes out, because I have Grass Knot on here specifically for Hippowdon and Swampert. So if I have to switch out Blissey every time they come in, she becomes kind of pointless. So I've decided to run it like this just because she can live hits now. She's not going to be taking them well, don't get me wrong, but that's what Soft Boiled's for. So I feel like this is the best bet. I might change it up for the battle, but I will probably end up keeping it like this. Natural Cure ability, of course, with the leftovers just to get residual health back, and a solid standard Blissey move set. This move's interchangeable, but Grass Knot just because the Swampert is a threat and the Hippowdon is of course a threat, and Grass Knot does about 50% to Hippowdon, and I think it one hits the Swampert. If not, it's close. Alright, next we have our Choice Scarf Garchomp. Choice Scarf has been my item of choice for Garchomp this season. I've switched between that and Choice Band, although I think I only did Choice Band the first week, just because I needed that extra damage output. This time I need the speed, because I need him to outspeed Alakazam and Mega Charizard Y. I need him to outspeed them, and without the Choice Scarf, I'm not sure if he can. I know he cannot outspeed either of them. He cannot outspeed either of them. Unless that Alakazam has Choice Scarf, we outspeed him. The Rough Skin ability, because Sandveil is pointless because we're not setting up any Sandstorms. I could run that because he has a Hippowdon, but I don't really care about evasiveness. It's not, you know, really that big of a deal to me, and we already have immunity to Sandstorm because we're part ground. If it was Sand Rush, I might do it, but Sandveil is really not that good for me. And Rough Skin, we can get off some residual damage on the Hippowdon. The Ferrothorn, excuse me, the Swampert, Hitmonlee, you know, we can just get off some damage if we end up taking hits with it. Dragon Claw, just because it does a decent amount of damage to everything on his team. Earthquake for the Heatran, the Ferrothorn, the Tentacruel, and the Jinx. Rock Slide because it one hits the Mega Charizard Y. So if we can get in there before that thing switches in, we can one hit it with a Rock Slide and it will be neutralized. And then Fire Fang for the Ferrothorn. I realized that we will be taking a huge amount of residual damage from the Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet if that is the set he ends up bringing. But it almost one hits the Ferrothorn, so I feel like it's worth it. It kind of sucks if we get Choice Scarf locked into that too early in the game, because the Heatran can come in with Flash Fire, and then we will be forced out, and we can't just fire off an Earthquake. But it's a risk I'm willing to take because it can do so much damage to that Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn can no longer just wall us, because Earthquake's doing a decent amount, but it's only neutral and it's not doing too much, and Power Up actually does a decent amount of damage to us, so we would be forced out. This gives us some coverage for the Heatran, or for the Ferrothorn, excuse me. 252 in attack, 252 in speed. You know, Adamant Nature, because we are running the Choice Scarf, so we don't need to be any faster, because we outspeed everything on his team unless he has Choice Scarf Alakazam, which again I do not foresee happening. Next up, we have the new member of our team, and actually a very strange looking Mew. I don't normally use Mew. This is actually the first time I've ever really used Mew. I drafted him, or I picked him up as a potential specially defensive wall, or maybe another defensive wall, just in case Suicune wasn't looking too nice one week or whatever. So I drafted him, or picked him up in that respect. But this week I was like, nah, I mean, Suicune does a good amount of damage, and he also acts really well as a physical wall, and then Blissey acts pretty well as our special wall. So I'm gonna run I originally was gonna run a especially offensive Mew, and that would have taken care of Alakazam. That would have taken care of Hippowdon, because Grass Knot one hits Hippowdon if we are especially offensive. It would have taken care of Tentacruel. It would have taken care of pretty much everything on his team. But then I looked at it and I was like, I really only have one answer to that Mega Charizard Y, because Suicune's not going to do any damage really because of the sun being up. And, you know, like I said, Solar Beam kind of bodies us. Blissey's not touching him. Chandelure can't really touch him. And he can just kind of residually take us out with whatever, you know, Solar Beam or whatever. He can't overheat us, of course, because of Flash Fire. And then Scizor does a decent amount to him, but we can't one-hit him unless we have our Stealth Rocks up, and then we potentially could with a Bug Bite if we outspeed him, which we won't unless we have a Tailwind up. But that's just too much, like, oh my gosh, all this has to happen. And then he has to be like modest and not timid, and it was just it was too many ifs have to happen, to the point where I was like, I need another check to this Mega Charizard Y in case Garchomp goes down for whatever reason, you know, in case he's running Energy Ball, Choice Specs, Modest, Alakazam, and comes in on my Garchomp, and I'm like, oh, I've got this, and then he bodies me. So I was like, I need another check to this, and Special Mew actually could not check this Mega Charizard Y. Thunderbolt was only doing about 80%, and I was just like, I don't feel comfortable with that. I want something that can one-hit it. I want something that I can either let him on, go down, or I can switch in, take a little bit of damage, and then just one-hit it. I can just take it out. And Physical Mew, holding the Choice Scarf, can actually take out a Mega Charizard Y with a Rock Slide. So I was like, awesome, perfect. So I put Earthquake on there for that Heatran, and then just to kind of hit everything, because except for the Mega Charizard Y, and unless he has something that has Air Balloon, nothing on his team is immune. Oh, and Rotom. Nothing on his team is immune to Earthquake, and Earthquake can actually do a decent amount of damage to his entire team. I have the Seed Bomb on there for the Swampert, for the Tentacruel, in case he switches down to Swampert first, and the Hippowdon, because it does about 70% to the Hippowdon. I actually need to change this. Sucker Punch is actually not available for Mew. It said it was available via Move Tutor, and this might just be because I don't know how to do it, but I couldn't find it on Move Tutor. I couldn't find it, and it's like if you go to Foul Arbor Town and do the Move Reminder or Rememberer, I couldn't figure out how to get Sucker Punch on there, and I was like, I could just gen it on there. You know, you do the thing on Power Saves where you put the move on there, but I didn't want Mew to become illegal because I didn't feel like doing another one. So I actually just have U-turn on here. And this is going to be my dedicated lead because, like I said, he has very little Earthquake immunities. And if he sends out either one of his Earthquake immunities, being the Rotom or the Charizard, if it's the Charizard, I just Rock Slide, and that's GG with that Charizard. But if he sends out the Rotom, I can just U-turn out of there with my Choice Scarf. I'll outspeed him, and I can switch into Blissey, expecting the Shadow Ball, or Suicune, expecting some kind of physical attack if he, for some reason, is running a physical Rotom. But I do have him as my dedicated lead just because the Choice Scarf will let me outspeed everything on his team except the Alakazam if he is Choice Scarf, which I just really don't foresee that happening. And even if he does, I do believe we can live a Shadow Ball from a Choice Scarf modest Alakazam. But we have Rock Slide on there again for the Mega Charizard Y, like I was saying, and then U-turn. It hits the Alakazam hard. It hits pretty hard for most things. And I want momentum. I want momentum. I want to be able to be like, nope, I don't want to be in here. I'm gonna just U-turn out of here. It'll be a quick U-turn, so I will have to take something. But like if I can predict, like if I'm in there against the Alakazam and he's not Choice Scarf, I can just U-turn out of there and go into Blissey or something and potentially a little bit. U-turn, it needs to be on there. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Alright, you got it, Spencer. Max attack, max speed with 4 in special defense. Adamant nature because we are Choice Scarf, so we don't need to be any faster. Because like I said, we're probably not going to outspeed Alakazam anyways, even if we are Jolly, and he is timid. Choice Scarf. You know, if he is Choice Scarf, he outspeeds everything on my team, and we have a problem, but I just don't foresee that happening. And again, we have Chandelure on the team. He's been on there every week because he's just that good. He is just that good. We have Energy Ball, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Psychic. We have him holding the Choice Specs because he does so much damage. That base 1 of 45 special attack. He has the Flash Fire ability just to kind of switch in on the Mega Charizard, and then he can't really do anything. He can Shadow Ball, but to be fair, the Mega Charizard can't really do anything to us that much. He has Energy Ball for Hippowdon, Swampert, Flamethrower for Jinx, Ferrothorn, and Shadow Ball for the Alakazam, just in case we can predict the switch in. Psychic for the Hitmonlee, because I believe we walled the Hitmonlee. I'm pretty sure we walled the Hitmonlee, so that would be nice. We have 252 in special attack, 252 in speed, and then a timid nature, so we can outspeed some stuff. Because I do believe that timid Chandelure outspeeds Hitmonlee. I might be wrong on that. I do believe I just kind of made that up on the spot. I think I remember seeing that though, but I might be wrong on that. And then our last mon is our Mega Sizzlor. Now, I actually, be 100% honest with you guys, I wasn't planning on bringing Sizzlor this week. I was convinced by Kian actually. He convinced me to bring Mega Sizzlor. I was actually going to opt out and bring, who was I going to bring? I was going to bring either Electros or Thundurus. I was like, Thundurus can also be another check to that Mega Charizard, and I was like, that would be really nice. But Kian convinced me to bring Sizzlor because of Pursuit. Because of Pursuit. I can Pursuit Trap the Alakazam. Bug Bite actually does a lot of damage to some of the stuff on his team, like it does about 40% to Hippowdon if he's not fully physically defensive. And then just Knock Off and Bullet Punch. And Kian definitely convinced me to bring this, and I wasn't looking at it that way. I wasn't really looking at it as an Alakazam check, just because I was like, if he has HP Fire and he's modest, he one-hits me, but I definitely see his value now, and I really am grateful to Kian for convincing me to bring it, because I really do feel like it can put a lot of work in on his team. It definitely poses a threat to to a lot of his mons, and Knockoff, again, I didn't have a knockoff user, unless I wanted to take him another spot on Mew, so I was like, I can dig that, So we do have him holding the Scizor, of course, with Bug Bite, Pursuit, Knockoff, and Bullet Punch, with max HP, max attack, and 4 special and defense, and then Adamant Nature instead of Jolly, just because he's not going to outspeed anything. Let's see, how much is this going to do? Let's see if he is Jolly. Let's see, it bumps from 166 to 182. You're not outspeeding anything, my good man. You're not outspeeding anything. So we're going to go ahead and just run you Adamant, just so that you can hit like a truck. So that is going to be our team, guys. This video will go up today, Saturday, and then the battle will go up tomorrow, which is Sunday, and it is against Max. He is 0-3 in the league so far, but he is new, guys. He is new to competitive battling. So he definitely has potential, though. He has a very solid team, and he's a really good battler. He's just gone up against some really tough opponents, and like I said, he is new. But I'm not taking this game lightly. I'm really nervous. That Mega Charizard Y can actually put in a lot of work against my team, and it's definitely going to be a threat. So it's going to be a really good battle, guys, and that will be up, like I said, tomorrow. But I do want to thank you guys for checking out this video and encourage you guys to check out the channel if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed this team builder video, go ahead and smash that like button down below. You know, your support's always appreciated. But I'm going to get out of here, guys, and I'll see you all next time.